We had always had what I would consider a pretty stable marriage. We got along really well. We didn't have a lot of conflict. I kind of leaned on Joyce to be the spiritual leader of the family, teaching the boys about Jesus. If someone was going to pray with the boys, it was you, and it was because I was, I was kind of closed-minded. My heart was closed off to the idea. I certainly felt like I was more in control of my own actions and the outcome of those actions. At some point, I found myself in this affair outside of the marriage. I think Joyce became aware, or at least, she felt the pull away from the family, and she knew me well enough to know that things weren't right. I started to tell a story that wasn't true to those around me, to my family, to Joyce. We ultimately led to a divorce that, ripped the family apart.
I found myself post-divorce just spiraling. No more of praying, no more of church. At some point, that surrender finally came. And it was just like coming to the end of myself. And it wasn't even really about him, about John, or about the divorce. It was just a life of just running from it, and a constant theme of God pursuing me, and me just thinking I knew what was best. I got involved in therapy back in the church. I got in a small group that just loved me and my children. They sat and listened to me every Sunday afternoon talk about, I had two very out of control teenage boys that I was basically at this point raising by myself. And just the struggles of being a single parent and trying to get through the day.
I started to battle with alcoholism and a lifestyle that wasn't focused around the children. I didn't see a positive outcome. It was just hanging on and trying to keep everything held together until, I hit rock bottom, if that was going to happen. One day, I'd had enough and decided that I wasn't going to drink anymore. I never dreamed of having my family back together. My goal was stop drinking and build a relationship with the kids or try to salvage something.
Part of my therapy was to write a letter to him that was really just to write it. And I decided when he was kind of sober and on this new path he was taking to leave the letter here, I just left it in his mailbox. And I had no motives, and I don't even know why I did it. Like, I just was leaving the gym one day and I was like, I'm just dropping that in his mailbox.
I still hadn't faced my own reality of the things that I'd done. I tucked those away. Like, I didn't do these things. This was two people that had drifted apart, and I convinced myself of some of the lies that I've been telling. So I get the letter, and of course, it wasn't a reconciliation letter. It was a letter of forgiveness. There were some things going on with projects that I was dealing with a house where a pipe had busted, and I needed my dog to go somewhere. One of the boys said, "Hey, why doesn't the dog go to Mom's house?" The first day we talked quite a bit, and our conversations progressed as the weeks went on, and we shared meals together with the boys like family.
Brad from church asked to meet with John. He had always been so hesitant or resistant toward anything, and I'm like asking him to meet with this man from my small group from church, and he did, and I think that was pretty much the life-changing.
It was. That was the first time I'd ever spoken about any of the things that had gone on when we were married and the affair and the things that took place. Meeting with Brad, we went over that and quite a few, just the whole story. And I think then I realized how broken I was, and he realized that I was already, my heart was already open to learning about Jesus and accepting Jesus as my Lord and Savior.
It's almost unbelievable how good God has been to us, and that He chose us for this story, and that He chose to redeem all the brokenness that we've experienced as a family, and we are very grateful.
I've always felt like a very private person, but I think it would be very selfish not to share the story, and with hopes that we could multiply the blessings and other people would learn that miracles do happen.